wherever they started to Canada. Hey guys, it's Mia here and welcome back once again. Now before any of you point out the giant scab on my nose, I am aware it's there. I have particularly sensitive skin around my nose area, so anytime I'm sick or anytime I have a runny nose or anything like that, it gets very irritated around that area, and so it scabs up and gets sore. I don't know what to do about it. I've had it my entire life. I've used all different sorts of tissues. I've been very gentle with my nose and it doesn't seem to matter. So that's what that is. It's just a scab. Nobody punched me in the nose or anything, so don't worry. But let's get into what we're going to talk about today. And that is Torn, the fourth book in the Margaret Peterson Haddix Missing series. This is the fourth book out of 8, so this is a long series, and I'm halfway through the series at this point, so if you have not watched the other review videos for the other books, you can go ahead and do that, or if you have not read the other 3 books, then you might want to do that before listening to this video. And as always, be aware for spoilers for this book as we continue on. In case you don't want those spoiled for you, I recommend skipping this until you've read it and then coming back, because honestly, this is probably the best book in the series so far, and the other 1 and 2 had nostalgia backing them, and I still feel like this is the best book in the series so far. So, as you know, in the end of Sabotaged, Jonah and his sister find out that JB's second in command, Sam, who was in charge of all the keeping track of time, like all the predictions, all the different outcomes that time could have, ended up betraying JB and Jonah and everyone, and sort of wanting to make his own way in history because he was bored. Well, this time it continues right on into that. With 1600 being a trap from Second, they are forced to jump 11 years into the future, or into the past, or into the now? Into the past, I'm just going to say. They jump forward to 1611 because they were in 1600, but their original time is the 21st century, but it's not because they're all children from history. And this one is where the time travel aspect starts to really mess with and hurt your head, because it starts to feel more like time travel and less like dimension hopping, because the time travel seemed to play very little into its actual rules. But because of what Second did to them in Sabotaged, time travel is all screwed up. The time anomaly that they were trying to hold back and trying to fix by sending all of the different kids in history has been released thanks to Second and his antics, which is what Sam is calling himself. So Jonah and Catherine are sent forward from the 1600s into 1611. And Second tells them that JB, Andrea, and a couple of other boys that we did not know about until close to the end of Sabotaged are going to be stuck there unless Catherine and Jonah are successful in fixing 1611. I don't know why 1611 was the area that they had to hit, but they had to stop the time wave before it got to 1611, or else everyone in the entire world and the entire time could cease to exist forever, because one person was bored and decided to try and play around with time. So, having gotten into 1611, Jonah is given this futuristic costume that makes you seem exactly like the person the costume you're wearing of. It makes you sound like them, it cannot be removed by natural means, so you look like a completely different person. This is because the person that Jonah is impersonating was lost to time thanks again to Second's antics. And Second isn't around with them. He's a predictor, he's a watcher, he's a timekeeper. So he knows all of these things that are going to be said, and he pre-recorded messages for Jonah and Catherine. So everything that he says to them has already been said this entire time and was just recorded because he's that smart and can think that far ahead. So the reason I think that this is my favorite so far was because it takes us to a time where they were just discovering passages from wherever they started to Canada, and it takes place mostly on a ship, and it kind of becomes like this sort of pirate mutiny type story where Jonah is the son of the captain of the ship. Well, he's playing as the son of the captain of the ship. We do get a little teaser about Jonah's identity, because at first Catherine thinks that maybe this is Jonah's time and maybe he is this John, because Jonah, kind of fits. But no, that was all like a little tease for the readers that you're not going to know who Jonah is. So Jonah and Catherine being invisible and Jonah in the disguise of the son of Harry Hansen, who is John Hansen, Harrison Hansen. Harrison? Yeah, I think so. But he is forced to play a role with no guidance because JB is trapped in the 1600s and Second isn't actually there. And plus, when they get there, because of Second's time manipulation, the elucidator is nowhere to be found. It's gone. It doesn't work. Even if they did find it, it doesn't work. Second ruined everything, and he left it up to a couple of 13-year-olds to try and fix it. Which, yes, all of these 4 books have happened in less than a year, because they are still 14 by the end, or they are still 13 by the end of this one. That'd be one hell of a year, wouldn't it? That'd be one hell of a year. But Jonah soon starts to uncover that one of the shipmates might not be as loyal to the captain as he pretends to be, and that is a guy by the name of Prickett. And let me tell you, the name Prickett has never been more deserved, because he is a total prick. He is constantly finding ways to get Jonah, aka John, into trouble and belittle him in the captain's eyes, which Jonah is portraying the son of the captain. So he kind of has this enemy relationship with Jonah, and he tries everything he can to discredit Jonah, who he thinks is John. And it's just like, why do you hate him so much? If you really wanted control of the ship, why did you come and help him when he needed it? You could have just left him adrift at sea. Because one of the things that happened was there was a mutiny on the ship when they first got there. For whatever reason, the people on the ship were not happy. And Jonah soon finds out that it's because Harrison Hudson is a very stubborn man. He's a very strong-willed man. And because he is so stubborn and strong-willed, he is basically leaving his shipmates to starve because he is so determined to find this land that he does not want to stop. He'll keep going whether they have food or not. And it's the middle of an icy winter, or it's technically June, but it's icy nonetheless, and Jonah's like, are you sure we're not at the North Pole? Because it should not be snowing in June. So they are all mad at him because they're basically afraid that they're going to starve to death because they barely have enough rations on the ship to go around as is. So they cast him off in a little rowboat and basically leave him for dead. But Prickett, surprise, surprise, takes the reins and comes back to save him. And everybody's like, maybe Prickett's not such a bad guy after all. But then when they all get back on the ship, Jonah and Catherine and all of them, who Catherine can't be seen by anybody because she's invisible, but all of the others get back on the ship too and are like, why would Prickett do this? Maybe he isn't such a bad guy, maybe he wasn't working for the bad guys, I don't know. But it all becomes this mystery of, why is Puckett have it out for John? What if we can't make it to winter? And there's all this time things that are happening because of what Second did. Like, in the last few reviews, I talked about tracers. There are no tracers for them to go off of this time. Second messed up time so much with what he did in Sabotaged that the tracers disappeared, as well as the real John Hudson, which is why Jonah had to play him in this super advanced costume. And so Jonah and Catherine are basically left winging it. They have no help. They have no way of knowing what to do because there are no tracers to follow. They have no idea what is supposed to happen because this wasn't really talked about in history. For all they knew, the captain of the ship was supposed to end up starving to death on this little rowboat, and that was supposed to be the end of it. But because of all the changes that Second made, that didn't happen. Prickett ended up coming back and saving them and putting them on the ship. So it's, how can we get the ship back on track when we don't even know what we're supposed to be doing? We were told he was supposed to be marooned on the ship, and yet he's still here. There's no tracers for us to follow, so one mistake and we could finish off time for good. And it really becomes this more gripping story because where the other three had its mystery and had its ups and downs, this one, the whole time you're like waiting for time to unravel at any second. You're waiting for Jonah and Catherine to start fading away like they were nothing to begin with. It's just, their backs are literally against the wall. They're stranded in a time that they don't even know anything about, with no help because nothing is working, no tracers to guide them. It's all them on their own, and I think that's one of the things that I really enjoyed, was the fact that they were finally on their own with nothing to help them. And that might make me sound like a cruel person, but if the characters are constantly being handheld the whole time, it's like, well, how are they really heroes when they were basically walked through what to do every single time? And I think that it was smart of Margaret to finally give them a book where they were stranded alone, to be like, no, these characters are capable of doing this without help, and I'm going to show you that. And I feel like that made this book so much more enjoyable than the rest, and the rest were still enjoyable. Although I think I'm going to take a break from this series, because this is the fourth one in a row that I've read, and there are 4 more, so I'm going to take like a mid-series break to read something else. I'm not sure yet what that is going to be. I told you guys in my book haul video I was going to stop getting books, but I think I lied, because I still had money on the gift card, and I have another book coming hopefully today, so I don't know. We'll see. But so far, this has been the best in the series. I loved the stakes. I loved seeing them handle things completely alone. It really showed how strong of characters they were. I love Margaret's writing, how it's easy to follow, yet she doesn't talk down to her audience, and she leaves you with this mystery. And as much as I was mad at it at first, I really liked the little playful poke at possibly who Jonah could be. You got me, but I cannot wait to find out who Jonah really is. I'm sort of thinking he's a different version of JB, but they say 2 of the same people can't exist in the same time, but with time rules all wonky donkey, who knows what'll happen? I'm kind of hoping he's like King Arthur or something, but we'll see. I have no idea who he is, and I'm super excited to find out. But like I said, I'm going to take a break on this series to read something else. Since it's the middle of the series, I just kind of want a series break because I've been dishing these out back to back, and I kind of just want a break, and I cannot wait to see where the rest of it goes after my break. So, what are you guys reading right now? I currently don't know because I wanted to start the book that was supposed to be here, but it's not here. So, let me know what you guys are reading and what you're thinking of it so far, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.